Glass House Brands weighs hemp entrance. The company says it already has underutilized greenhouses that could easily be converted to hemp. One of the biggest names in California marijuana cultivation, Glass House Brands, is actively considering getting into the hemp sector, the company leadership revealed during its second quarter earnings call last Tuesday. The temptation is understandable. Glass House has several sizable greenhouses that aren't being fully utilized for growing marijuana. One is actively being emptied out by a tomato farmer so Glass House can begin using the space for cannabis cultivation, either marijuana or hemp. And because Glass House already has manufacturing capacity and branding for its own product lines, company executives said it would be a relatively simple pivot to take advantage of a potentially enormous new revenue stream. We are actively having meetings with large distributors of hemp-derived cannabis, and we are considering DTC or direct-to-consumer products shipped from our farm in Southern California directly to people in the states which legally allow it, Glass House CEO Kyle Kazan said during the call, while emphasizing that a final decision has not yet been made. The business benefits are obvious, including the ability to ship across state lines or even internationally, a lack of federal 280E tax burdens on hemp products, and basic diversification as the California marijuana market continues to struggle with pricing pressure and the competition from the underground market, as well as from the same intoxicating hemp goods that Glass House is considering producing. Marijuana prices have continued to tumble in recent weeks, CFO Mark Vendetti said, with wholesale marijuana prices having fallen below the lowest level seen in 2023. We think that the current level of flower pricing is approaching an economically unsustainable level for many growers, Vendetti said. Glass House has even revised its expected price per pound downward for the rest of the year from $275 to $280 per pound. I'm sorry, from $310 to $315 per pound down to $275, $280 a pound. That's a powerful motive for any California marijuana grower to diversify, especially when it would take very little effort, Kazan said. What we would do in the greenhouses in terms of retrofit or operations is no different between the two markets. It really is just a different set of regulatory standards, Kazan said. What we're looking at here would give us basically maximum optionality with minimum increased costs so that we can be potentially in both markets at the same time. The pivot could also open up markets that are still closed to marijuana, such as Texas, Glass House President Graham Farrar noted. I've seen numbers upward of 7,000 hemp dispensaries in Texas, Farrar said. So the market size is potentially massive. And frankly, it looks more like we would have expected and hoped cannabis to look at this point. Glass House would be far from the first major cannabis brand to expand into hemp. New York-based Curaleaf, Mike Tyson's cannabis brand 2.0, and California-based Cookies and Jeter have all made the leap, part of a national trend that has accelerated over the past 2 years. The pivot would also be fairly easy because California lawmakers have thus far failed to regulate intoxicating hemp goods. An attempt to pass a bill to do just that failed last week when AB 2223 died in the Senate Appropriations Committee. That means much less red tape compared to the cannabis sector if Glass House did choose to begin growing hemp. So, I've been covering this hemp stuff here in AB 2223 and the way in which underregulated hemp and overregulated cannabis are intersecting. I would like to hear what my other guests and pundits think and feel about this article today.
Where's Brian Dombrowski, man? This would have been his favorite article ever.
Hey, I'm not. You know, I'm not mad at this, and I'm not surprised that they would make this move in the slightest. But I wonder if, since they bottomed out the weed market, if they're going to bottom out the THCA market.
Duh.
I don't think you can ever bottom out that shit, man.
I mean, like, look at the hemp market when people first started pivoting, right? All these operators go into hemp, start making CBD. I remember CBD, like, we sold the first, created CBN for like ridiculous 5-figure prices per kilo, and now everything has dropped out. So I think, with saturation, Glass House is a really, really, really big operation, and they built a huge footprint up in the Santa Barbara area. So I think that if they fill that up and they continue to grow and continue to throw things out at the level they've been throwing traditional cannabis out at, I mean, I think that they could be a potential market dropping force. So I said that in the slowest way possible, but I think that it is possible.
It is possible.
I don't think that their inundation is enough to say that they're going to have the most moving effect on the market like that. But obviously they have officially commoditized the future cannabis market for sure, and that model will continue, whether that's the only one or whether there's many. But of course everything's going to consolidate. I mean, yes, they have the best chance, and that's the reality. They have not only the biggest footprint, as Jenny said, but they have the most developed footprint. Their facility in Lompoc is 20,000 square feet. It's a GMP Type 7 distribution. It does edible manufacturing. It does hydrocarbon extraction, it does solvents extraction, and it meets all the FDA requirements. I know because I built it. So that's one of the keys, is if you're going to be in the future of this game, you have to fulfill the requirements. And if you don't have the infrastructure, you're not going to be able to do it. And if you don't have the $5 million to spend, you're not going to be there.
So let me ask you guys a follow-up question then, right? So there was a misstatement that was made in this about there's being no difference in the cost of the infrastructure and installation. To my knowledge, the majority of the hemp industry is not under glass. To my knowledge, the majority of the hemp industry is full season, sun grown. And so what Glasshouse has been able to do is create mostly greenhouse product that gives you that limier green cannabis look. Some consumers may not necessarily always know the difference between indoor versus greenhouse, but and where they've been able to scale and be competitive without having that dingy color that often comes from full sun outdoor when Mother Nature is completely on your board of directors and you have less say in what your final product looks like. I don't know that there is a greenhouse market for hemp that is going to be as scaled and as competitive as the hemp producers who are out of state that are just doing fields of hemp. And so I'm wondering what this group thinks in terms of this pivot. Clearly, they don't want to bring that glasshouse greenhouse production online for cannabis because they're not going to make money on it because the cost of production is going to equal the wholesale price. So it would be a money-losing proposition. But do we have any data in the hemp market to show that greenhouse-produced hemp has a commercially viable path to be something the consumer wants and is going to pay more for compared with outdoor-grown hemp?
My boy Mike was pushing that shit in
Yarrow.
Florida, and he was moving weight.
Greenhouse is like the faker weed. So the stuff that you're going to see that's going to be the indoor quality, that's not super indoor quality, is going to be that. So yeah, it does fetch a higher price in the market. I think we all know that.
100%.
But I think that there's a variety. I don't think that it's fair to say it's just all sun grown. I think that, a lot of the market is indoor, and plus the other part of the market that's like growing is unrecognizable weed. It's like covered in THCA and terpenes. It's like, what is that? That's not even, you don't know what that is, but that's probably the sun grown for sure. But I think some people are doing indoor even with that. So it's like, it's weird. People like weird shit. And when they're given the options for weird shit, then they're going to like it, and they're going to,
that's why they tune in.
Well, I mean,
you gotta get some good weed from, Jason Beck's personal head stash. That's the best weed in the world.
Is there really a demand though for hemp flower?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, like, listen, people have been using, I don't know, not this is once again the streets dictating what the market and the license operators have to do, because like, yes, people have been switching out hemp packs and putting them in Mylars and selling them just like they were a pound out of your indoor grow for years. Like, this is not a new thing. And honestly, with all these holdout states, I think there's still going to be a wide market for high quality hemp that is a passer that is going to be sold, like to people. Throw it in a cookies bag, and I bet you people will sell out really quickly before they realize
They already are. They were pioneers in this shit.
100%. So, like, yes, if they're doing it, they're not. Cookies isn't selling to like people who are trying to make hempcrete.
Right? No, you have points. You have plenty of points right there, Beth.
Fair enough. Well, Rico, do you have Todd's introduction queued up? We're gonna roll
The handsome bald guy.
Yeah. We're gonna roll the Todd. We're gonna
The guy
roll
who
the Todd
showed
and
the
then-
half-naked pictures in the jacuzzi last week to viewers.
Yeah.
And show him. Jason showed him.
Oh God.
We freed the nipple. It's okay, Yarrow. He's fine.
We thought about starting a spin-off show just for those pictures.
Yarrow. Hold on, Yarrow.